Good morning, everyone. Welcome once again to Word Up, the class all about poetry, short stories, and spoken word. My name is Kimberlie Wright. Thanks again for supporting me and supporting yourselves in this writing endeavor, sharing and listening. And we're just going to go ahead and get started. So, what we talked about last week was basically just going through a few of your poems that you shared, and that's what we're going to do today, is just go through some of the things that we've already covered. So we're going to give everybody a few minutes to join us, and while that's going on, I'm going to go ahead and start to put some information in the chat for you to, if you are interested in typing anything out or recording some of the information. The chat today is going to be the works of poetry we already covered. How you doing, Miss Jean?
I'm doing okay. I don't see anything though.
It's okay. I haven't started anything yet.
Oh.
You're so silly.
No wonder I don't see it.
So far for the pieces that we have covered, that doesn't mean that we've actually probably taken care of everything that we could in that particular subject, because I think a few of them we need to go back. Maybe some people did not understand. Somebody needs to mute themselves. Sorry. Okay. Too much noise. So if you have a noise going on, you have to unmute yourself. Mute yourselves. So once again, you are welcome to unmute yourselves if you don't have background noise, but if you do, please just be mindful of that, because I am recording. Does everybody see what I'm putting in the chat? This is the last one. All right. So far in the chat, it says the works that of poetry we already covered. So we have haiku, free verse, acrostic, limerick, riddle poetry, short story, riddle poems like What Am I Wish poem, alphabet poem, and poem with a twist. So far I can say that we all have shared a little bit of each one of these topics these types of poetry. However, we did not share, yes, no one has done a short story. I would say a limerick, and that would be all, because we've done everything else. So the reason why I've put those types of poems in the chat is for anyone new joining us that wants to write anything about those as it pertains to those titles. You can look them up. It's up to you. And we had a few poetry prompts last week. I just wanted to say or ask, does anyone have any poem or poetry or writing that they want to share today? Anyone? If not, we're gonna go on. All right, so if you don't have pen and paper, you may want to get pen and paper to jot down any of the lessons that we have today. Please get pen and paper. If you have any questions about the titles that the types of poems that we have up there, feel free to ask. Don't be shy.
Can you review the lyric? I mean, wait a minute, I call it. Wait a minute, let me get it right. The limerick.
The limerick.
Yeah.
All right. So that is one of the things that I don't feel like anyone has actually turned in. I mean, not turned in, sorry. Nobody has actually written a limerick or I would say, yeah. So a limerick is a humorous poem consisting of 5 lines. It is a humorous poem consisting of 5 lines. The first, second, and 5th lines, if you're writing this down.
Yes.
The first, second, and 5th lines must have 7 to 10 syllables. So I think I'm going to put this in the chat as well.
7 to 10 syllables. Wow.
If you know what syllables are sounds. Like Kimberlie has 3 syllables. Kimberlie. Yes,
Okay.
Miss Jean?
Yeah, I just wonder, sometimes I keep messing with them. We need to just stop and leave it alone.
Talking about your poem?
Yes.
I mean, I guess when you've gotten your message across and when you feel confident and satisfied with what the
Okay.
subject is, and yeah, sometimes you got to just leave it alone and go to another piece.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to do that. Anyway, a limerick is a humorous poem. That's one. The next thing, it is consisting of 5 lines. First, second, and 5th lines, I'm putting it like more simplistic, must have 7 to 10 syllables.
Okay.
Syllables and rhyming, having the same verbal rhythm. They must have the 7 to 10 syllables and rhyme. I'm going to give you an example as well. The 3rd and 4th lines, 3 and 4 lines, must have, should only have 5 to 7 syllables. And those 2 lines too, of course, must rhyme. So I'm going to give you an example of limerick. If you want to write any of that down, feel free, because everybody, if you're interested in writing a limerick, it's just a poem with a sense of humor, but it does have like a rhyme sort of detail. So if you want to write those down, you more than welcome to, because no one has actually tried to write that type of poem, or I haven't heard any. So that would be good. All right.
Thank you.
So an example of a lyric. Sometimes I always try to say an example of a lyric could be the old lady in the shoe, but I want to kind of give a probably another example. So this is a limerick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This already has 5 lines, and 1, 2, and 5 are going to rhyme. So I'm going to put my hand up for 1. This is the first line. There was a young girl on a tower. Remember, 1 and 2 supposed to rhyme. So this is the second one. Who looked just as fresh as a flower. The third one is not going to rhyme. Her hair was like silk, her skin smooth as milk, but her breath made the strongest night cower.
Her breath killed the flower.
And it was sad the fact that a woman, but I guess the women and men breath can get kind of, we all have to brush our teeth.
Yes.
So I'm going to say that poem again. There was a young girl on a tower who looked just as fresh as a flower. Her hair was like silk, her skin smooth as milk, but her breath made the strongest night cower. So one thing is, I don't know why I'm even saying this, but it's kind of like mean and cruel, but everybody always knew somebody in high school or college, like everybody, I guess, kind of like when you're in school and college, or even any type of institution, even at the Darnell facility, we feel like we tend to get people really well, and or at a distance, but they seem to become like family, like a second family, so to speak, and you become comfortable with people. But I remember in high school and in college, where I guess everybody, it just seemed like a natural thing that people would talk about either one girl or one guy that had the worst breath ever. Like,
It would kill flies.
about it, but I think people would feel like they didn't want to hurt their feelings and stuff, but maybe somebody did take the chance to tell them. It could be a whole bunch of things, but that was one that I remember. All right. So I'm gonna give you another example of a lyric. Thanks for asking that. I think that was Miss Shanette.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Thank you.
This is another limerick. It has five lines, and we're gonna start with the first line. There was an old man with a beard who said, "It is just as I feared." That's the 2 lines. 2 owls and a hen, 4 larks and a wren have all built their nest in my beard. So even though the first lines was beard and feared, that in the 5th line they used beard as the same word to rhyme. So if you want to, this is one thing I wanted to teach you all. AABA. AABBA. Okay, I'm typing, this is called the poetry rhythm or rhyme tone, so to speak. All right, I just put something in the chat. If you ever are researching lessons or instructions about poetry and you see someone ask you to write a poem in AABBA form, It's the form of how your poetry is going to be. Can somebody tell me what AABBA means as it pertains to what we're talking about? Come on, Miss Shanette.
It means that your rhyme is going to be AA, both of those are going to rhyme. BB, those are going to rhyme. And the third one, A, will rhyme sometimes with A at the top.
You said it correctly, but however, you need to use the right vocabulary. AABBA shows that there are 5 lines in the poem because there are 5 letters, right? And then if you go in the row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's showing you that 1, 2, and 5 are A, meaning they are together, they're gonna rhyme. And the third and fourth, BB, is gonna rhyme. So if you was to see something that said, this is just one made up. A, B, B, C, A, B, A. If you saw one like that, that was just made up. It's gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines, and the first, second, and eighth, first, second, sixth, and eighth line will rhyme. The third, fourth, and seventh line will rhyme, and C is all by itself. That's just basically how it goes. At this point, I would like to say, at this point, I would like to say, is there anyone who would like to share some poetry? Yes, Miss Jean, you have to unmute yourself.
I just wrote a limerick.
That quick?
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
There was a great teacher named Kim. She was perky and cute and trim. She was never late. She was always great. She looked like a doll on the plate.
Okay,
all right.
really good. The only thing is your last line is supposed to rhyme with the first 2.
Oh, plate, late. It doesn't right. Plate, late. That's wrong, right?
Plate, your plate is going with your third and fourth line, but it's supposed to go with the first and second line.
Okay.
So all you have to do is change your last line to rhyme with something with Kim and Trim. I'm glad
She was always nice to them.
that's good. So right now you can see, being that there's nothing wrong with it. I don't mind that you wrote a poem that quick and shared it with us. That just helps us with our lessons. So one thing that you want to do now, you saying, when do I stop? Now you want to start revising that poem because it's a really great poem. Of course, it's about me. Thank you so much. You can make it a little better. So that's really good. Thank you, Ms. Jean. All right. Anybody else have any poems? Don't be afraid.
Kim, I have an ABA, B,
No.
C,
No.
B, B.
You got an AA. Say that one more
I
time.
have
Hold on. I don't want y'all to get confused. This limerick, I said we were going to go back on the limericks.
okay.
If you want to write this, the short stories. If y'all remember, nobody shared a short story, a limerick, or let's go back up.
Well, could I do that with an inspiration?
I just want to say, hold on, Miss Vicky, sorry. I don't know what you just came up with that form, but we're sticking to the types of poetry that are already solid in here. Meaning like the limerick is only going to be 5 lines. The AABBA. All that other stuff I put down was just an example if some other poem asked you to do something else. The limerick is only, the reason why I explained the limerick is because Ms. Shanette asked me what was the limerick all about. I had asked if there were any questions. But if you have any poetry that you wrote about any of the poetry prompts that I've been giving you, I'm not saying it for you to make up a poem right now, but if you have anything you want to share on the poetry prompts. Do you?
You talking to me?
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Okay, it's no problem. But if you do have something you want to share while we're still on here, feel free. I'm going to give you all one more limerick because I do want you all to write some limericks. Don't forget the short stories. If you need instructions on writing a short story, we'll go back through that as well. But however, this is another last limerick for today. It's called Tired of This Joint. Tired of this joint. At her retirement dinner, old Mrs. Krupp made it clear she's no longer a pup. Due to her advanced age, she slipped on the stage, declaring, I've fallen and I can't get up. So that's that. All right. How many people want to, I guess if you don't feel comfortable with writing a short story, don't forget that you can just continue to write, practice on some of the titles that we have, the types of poetry. So the short story should not be that hard because think of short stories as when you are talking to somebody saying, girl, can you believe I went to the doctor? And the line was so long, people even started arguing. Somebody threw an ink pen over at the lady who, I don't know. We tell each other stories sometimes just in regular talking. But if I were to say, write a short story, you'll start trying to think about memories and different things. If you have any type of story, it doesn't have to be humorous or uplifting. It can be sad. The story, you just want it to have actually a subject. You want to figure out what your subject is going to be. All right. Sorry about that. So do you know online they have this thing, if you want to write it down, feel free. They have this site called poetry generator or a rhyme generator. It generates, for example, if you are writing about art, A-R-T, and you want to find words that have to do with art or actually rhyme with art, you can just look up, search rhyme generator, and you can type in a word into their search, and they will give you all sorts of words that rhyme with whatever word that you put in the search. So once again, our poetry prompts, the ones that we have done so far, I'm not going to write all of the instructions down to these prompts. However, if you needed to know what if you needed to know what one of the instructions was to one of them, feel free. I will let you know. These are not in order how I gave them to you because these are not actually class projects. They are just to prompt you to write. So these are some that we already had so far. We had all of these prompts that I'm putting in. Sorry. I have a few right here. Anticipation. Okay, I have a lesson that I want you all to do. I want you all to write this down. Even though I'm going to continue putting the prompts in the chat, in case there is a subject that you want to write about, feel free, but this is a lesson that I want you all to do. The lesson for next week is to write about. First of all, you need to know what style or form you're writing in. You can choose any of the types of poems that we've already covered to write your poem in. You can write a haiku poem, you can write a free verse poem, acrostic, limerick, riddle. You can write it in short story form, I wish, alphabet. It's up to you. But however, what the poem is going to be about is what you like eating. You can title it however you want to, but what I want included in the poem is your favorite. This is either or you can include both of them. I want you to include your favorite appetizer or snack, your favorite dinner, and dessert, all in one poem. So that's like an appetizer. Now, some people might not eat some type of, that's usually when you probably go out to dinner, but some people might not eat an appetizer before their dinner. So usually we eat dinner and a dessert. But if you have any snacks that you love or even an appetizer, you can include that as well. However, what you want to write about in the poem is certain clue words. You want to write not only about what your favorite is in these categories, you want to write about how they make you feel, like to the touch, the feel of it on your tongue or in your mouth, or how it makes you feel as it pertains to sleepy, full. I don't know, maybe it gives you a memory from when you were a child. Maybe eating cotton candy makes you feel like you are floating on a cloud. I don't know. Those type of things. You want to bring up any imagery that has to do with the smell of these foods. That's how they are satisfying or unsatisfying. Sometimes we may eat something that has a really bad odor, but we just love it. Maybe it doesn't smell that good. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't even look that good. So you want to talk about, as it pertains to the food, the senses of how it, however, all of the things that have to do with why you like them. It could be the color, the shape, the texture. So I'm giving you some keywords that will help you get across what your poem is going to be about. Again, stick to what your main favorite meal is as it pertains to dinner. It could be one food from dinner or everything that will be on the plate. Dessert, that type of thing. And once again, your appetizer or snack. So that's for next week. Don't forget, you can title it any kind of way, and you can use any form or type of poetry to write it in as it pertains to the style. So I'm going to continue with the chats. However, a new chat that we're going to, I think that we have some chat about circus. Anybody remember that? Anybody? I know last week we had a chat about recipe. Y'all remember that one? The recipe, it said, write your poem in the form of a recipe. This can be something tangible, such as a cake, or it can be a more abstract concept, such as love or happiness. List ingredients and directions for mixing and tips for cooking up your concept to perfection. We had that chat, sorry, not chat. We had that prompt last week. So once again, if you all want to write about anything like that, And we had, last week, I remember we had locked in a jar because you all were really shocked that I would even imagine or say something about you being so small that you were locked in a jar. It said, imagine you are a tiny person who has been captured and put into a jar for display or science. We had a chat called fast food. Fast food, write a poem about fast food restaurants and your experience. We had a first car chat, prompt. First car, Miss Vicky read a poem about her first car. I remember that one. All right, this is a new chat. Even the reason you can tell it's a new chat because I'm going to put the instructions of what to write about. This is just a prompt in case you want to write about it, right? Next week I'm going to give you the instructions once again on how to write a short story, and we're going to go back in our memory bank some experiences in our life, and it doesn't even have to be about us. It could be about something outside of us, somebody else, or not even about a body. It could be about nature or an experience of any type of sort. It could have been about your first job or your first child, you know, one of those things but next week I'm going to give you instructions on how to write a short story. And actually last week I read a short story. Does anybody know what that short story was about that I read last week? I had got some feedback after the story. Miss Jean was saying some comments about it. But however, the story that I read to you last week was about turtles. Do you remember that? No?
No.
What? Y'all don't remember I read a story about turtles, and it was about this turtle that got invited to a party with other birds. The birds
Yes,
fly.
and they put the feathers on the turtle.
Yes, so he could get to the party, but he got up there and started talking about people.
Going out. Uh-huh.
Then they left him. He had to find his own way back to Earth. Y'all remember that?
Yes, yes.
So like I was just saying, like even though that was about turtles, it was all kind of made up as far as the fantasy in your mind, but it still gave you a lesson on how we as people need to mind our tongue and gossiping in a negative form or fashion about people. And you never know when you need somebody or everybody. So sometimes even the majority, it could be one person that's keeping up negativity or a few, but the majority of the people is gonna want to be uplifting and positive, and they'll leave you behind, like with negativity. So that was what the story was about last week. Yes, I just had to, I know we all have a lot going on in our lives and just had to probably like remind you. However, this is the chat for today. Write a poem from the perspective of a queen in your mind, whatever that would be. So the new prompt is queen. Write a poem from the perspective of a queen. And I'm gonna give you a second, since it's kind of short. The second prompt is gonna be write about an experience in the moonlight. Moonlight, write about an experience in the moonlight. All right, so don't forget next week, I would love to hear your poems about your favorite full course meal with, I guess, 3 courses, so to speak, what your favorite foods are. That's going to be very interesting. And we're going to please have pen and paper next week so that we can jot down instructions on how to write a short story and just have fun with it. Don't forget to keep writing. Thanks again for joining me for Word Up, the class all about poetry, short stories. Thank you, Ms. Jean. Short stories and spoken word. So I will leave you today with a poem, and we're going to end for the day. This is called No Jive, No Jive by Raymond R. Patterson. This brother is from New York, and it has a quote at the beginning that's by Langston Hughes that says, "You've taken my blues and gone."
Oh,
However, the poem is called No Jive by Raymond Patterson. You took my cake and you walked. You took my buck and you danced. You hardly gave me a chance. You took my ray and you ran. You took my swing and you swung. You nearly stole my fun. You took my jazz and you jumped. You took my bop and you blew. Shame, oh shame on you. You took my scat and you skipped. You took my rap and you ripped. It's time that you got hipped. When you took my rock and rolled, when you took my soul and split, you didn't get the half of it. Oh no, you didn't get the half of it. That was it.
you almost took my black. Put it back.
That was good, Miss Jean. Okay, I love you all. Thank you so much. I'll see you all next week. Have a wonderful and blessed day. And don't forget about our Harvest Festival on October the 30th, Friday, October 30th. We're going to be having pumpkin decorating or carving contest and food contest. Please check it out and have a wonderful day and join some other Zoom
Hey,
classes.
baby, hold on.
County. Thank you. Have a great day.
Okay, I was in class. It just ended.